Hello there everyone, and welcome to another edition of Lydia's Crafty Corner with me, Lydia, in my little crafty corner. So today we're going to be creating this really fun and festive holiday card, and as you can see I've kind of used some traditional with a little bit of non-traditional colours in here, and it's my favourite sentiment for the holidays too. So to start with, I'm going to be using some of the Mega Alphas, and this one is the Mega Alpha with the Ampersand. So I'm just going to be using this one. You can see that I have them all together, which really makes it easy to pick one that you want. So I have a piece of cardstock here. This is 4 by 5 1/4, and I'm just going to pop my Ampersand into place onto this panel. I'm going to add a little bit of tape and then run this through my die cutting machine. This means that when I have tape there, it means that it's not going to move around and it's going to stay in that position that I wanted it, right in the center of this panel. So once I've done that, I can then remove the little pieces, and I'm just going to need the outside of the panel and also the inside of that ampersand, and I can leave the ampersand for another project. I'm going to be using this Piles of Presents stamp set, and I'm going to be stamping these in a multitude of different colours. So for this first one here, I did swap and change my colours out, and for this one I'm going to be using the Coral Berry. So this is a dark pink colour, and I really love this one. So this one is the one with the little flowers on. So it has the base layer, which I did in the Coral Berry, and then the second layer I'm going to be doing in the Ruby Red. Now this is a great one for birthday cards, but you can also use this for Christmas cards too, because we have the little hollies in it there as well. So I'm going to take this small one, and this one is like little stripies. So I'm going to add this on with the baby pink, and then I'm going to take the stripes, and then for this layer I'm going to be using the fuchsia. Now I did stamp 2 of these originally, but I did stamp another couple of these 2 later on as well. So for this large square with the little holly second layer, I'm going to be using the grass fields for the base layer. Now you can see the first one that I did on this one didn't stamp out that greatly, but I'm not going to worry too much about it because this second layer here is going to kind of cover that, so I'm not going to worry too much. So for this one I'm going to be using the Mountain Pine, and you can see these are really easy to layer up. You're just going to make sure that the layers are on top of each other, and it doesn't matter if they're kind of out, they're still going to look really, really good. So for this little dotted parcel that we have here, for the first layer I did use the Volcano Lake, and then I'm going to go for the Lagoon for the spotty second layer. Now you don't necessarily have to use these layers, you could just use them as one layer presents if you wanted to. Now I wanted to add on the little twine or the little string that keeps them together, and I'm going to heat emboss this. So I have added a little bit of anti-static powder down first, and I'm then going to stamp those little strings that coordinate with each of the parcels using some of the embossing ink from Altenew. So once I've stamped that down, I'm then going to use some of the rose gold embossing powder. You can use any gold that you do have to hand, and that is just going to look fabulous. So a couple of these of the powder did stick in places where I didn't want it, but I didn't worry too much because these are not the focus of my card. The focus is going to be the ampersand and the sentiment, so I'm not going to worry too much if these aren't particularly perfect. So once I have finished with all of those, I can then take the coordinating dies, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to place them around the stamped image, add a little bit of tape, and then run them through my little mini blossom. So I'm going to keep doing this until I have all of my presents done, and then you can see just how pretty these are. So they are really pretty, really delicate kind of little parcels that we have going on, and I just love the colours that I've chosen here. So I'm then going to take my little panel that we cut before, and I kind of want a guideline where to pop my little parcels. So I'm going to place this onto my card base, take a pencil, and I'm just going to go around that ampersand die cut that we have. Now I'm not going to worry too much about it being perfect, I just kind of want them presents kind of covering that guide that we have there. So I did play around a little of where these presents were going to go, and once I'm kind of happy with that, I'm going to add a little bit of foam tape. Now this foam tape is really quite thin, so this is 1mm I think, and I'm just popping these so we're covering that guideline that we just did with the pencil. So I'm popping them into place. Now I don't want the parcels of the same colour to touch each other, so that's why I'm just going to play around with them, just making sure that I am covering the pieces, but also having a present not touching the same colour, because you know I want them all kind of random. So I'm going to keep going with this until I am covered. So I place them on, pop the little foam tape on the back of them, and then pop them into place. Now I am using some foam tape that I have in my drawer for quite a while, so I am trying to use up all the bits that I do have before I purchase some new foam tape. So as you can see, I'm just finishing that off. I did cut one of the presents in half just so I could use it in 2 different points, but there we go. I'm then going to take some more foam tape behind the little panel that we have here. I did check to see that this foam tape wasn't actually going on top of the presents that we have. A little bit of glue in that centerpiece of the ampersand, because that's going to be laying on the presents. So once I have this piece done, I'm then going to take the Tall Alpha from Altenew, and I'm going to cut the rest of my sentiment, which is the Merry and Bright, from some gold foil cardstock. You can use mirror cardstock if you wanted to, but I had the gold to hand. I then wanted this really quite straight, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to take a ruler and I'm going to use this to try and get the pieces where I want them to be. Now, while popping down a sentiment like this, I always recommend popping the 2 end letters down first, so you can get the same border either side of the B and the T, and then you can work out where the other letters need to be within that. So if you started off with the B and then you kept going that way, you may end up with not the same border on either side of the card. So that's why I do it that way. Always start off with the 2 end letters and then figure them out in the center. So here is the card complete. I really do hope that you've enjoyed the card and that you like the techniques involved. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and we'll see you again really, really soon. Bye-bye. Hello there, crafty friend, Lydia here. Just popping in to say that you can get your daily dose of crafting tips, techniques, and tutorials just like this by subscribing to the Altenew YouTube channel. All you need to do is click on that little bell up there and you will never miss a video. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.